Your Royal Highnesses, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to be here with you this evening and what is another era, another area of cooperation between the United Kingdom and Saudi Arabia. We have had traditionally many areas of cooperation in the defence, in trade, in education, in security and in regional affairs. To add another area of cooperation to the breadth and depth of our relationship gives me great pleasure, and this is, I'm sure, the beginning of another area of cooperation of extreme importance, not only to Saudi Arabia and to the United Kingdom, but to the world as a whole. And I think Saudi Arabia and the UK as partners can deliver a huge service not only to the people of Saudi Arabia, but to the world more generally. I welcome this initiative, and I'm really pleased that the UK is able to support it with technical assistance and money. And when I say that the UK is supporting this initiative with funds, you should understand the significance of that. Britain these days does not give away its money very easily, and when we do, it's because it's important. And in an era where we're trying to reduce our national debt, supporting this initiative financially should give you some indication of the importance we attach to it. But the issue of sustainability is vital to the future of all of us, including Saudi Arabia. One of the big questions your leaders will be asking is how Saudi Arabia will supply its rising population and growing economy with enough energy to sustain this expansion of the economy while at the same time maintaining a high level of exports, oil exports. This is where this initiative is so important. It seeks to address the issues of how Saudi Arabia can develop a more sustainable energy policy by looking at key questions related to sustainability. I welcome the foresight of His Royal Highness Prince Faisal bin Turki and the Global Saudi Strategic Studies Institute in developing this initiative. It seems to me there are four key components to providing a more sustainable energy future for Saudi Arabia: renewables, carbon capture and storage, energy efficiency, and if Saudi Arabia so chooses, nuclear. But I just want to concentrate on two of these. Firstly, renewables, and most notably solar. Coming from a country in the far north, Scotland, where the sun rarely shines, Saudi Arabia is not only blessed with huge oil reserves, it's also blessed with abundance of sun. That's why we northerners come here and enjoy staying here so much. The sun gives us so much more energy. Solar energy has the potential to supply all of Saudi Arabia's growing energy needs and become a huge exporter in the next 30 years. That doesn't mean to say we expect you to stop exporting oil, but we do think that there are opportunities for you to export all of your oil and use less of it in delivering your electricity. I was greatly encouraged by the Oil Minister Ali Naimi's comments at the opening of the King Abdullah University for Science and Technology that Saudi Arabia would in future be an exporter of solar energy in the same way it is now an exporter of oil. Saudi Arabia has some of the world's greatest centres of excellence for solar energy. Now is the time to harness that intellectual capability and to see some of these ideas translated into practical application. And of course, solar energy has a double benefit. It frees up oil for exports, which brings greater oil revenues into Saudi Arabia. I was struck by a figure that says that on present trends, Saudi Arabia will be using 5 million barrels a day for internal consumption within the next 2 decades. That is 5 million barrels a day of oil that you could be exporting that the world will certainly need in the coming decades. Some argue that the upcoming climate change negotiations demonise fossil fuels, and in particular oil. But we have seen demand for oil rise And all future projections, whether it's Aramco's, whether it's the Ministry of Petroleum, or whether it's the IEA, show under any available scenario demand for Saudi oil increasing over the next 30 years. But we also have to look at the impact on the climate, and there is much we can do together to minimise the impact that carbon emissions have on the atmosphere. Carbon capture and storage technology will allow us to do that, and we are working closely with the Kingdom on their ambitious plans to develop this technology, which is in its infancy. Trapping harmful greenhouse gases underground in underwater reservoirs for hundreds of years is a way forward that could deliver to Saudi Arabia not only benefit to the planet, but significant economic benefits. His Royal Highness Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman announced last month that Aramco will be using enhanced oil recovery technology in one of Saudi Arabia's largest fields. This technology involves pumping carbon dioxide into an oil field to increase the rate of oil recovery. The same technology can be used for carbon capture and storage, and is another opportunity for Saudi Arabia to play a leading role in what is an emerging technology around the world. In the European Union, we have committed to building 10 new carbon capture and storage demonstration plants. In the Four Kingdoms dialogue, the Four Kingdoms being Norway, Netherlands, Britain and Saudi Arabia, we may allow a republic to join, but we may force them to become a kingdom before we allow them to join. The Four Kingdoms dialogue, we are also committed to carbon capture and storage. By working together to share knowledge of how this technology works, we can increase the speed with which this technology is deployed. And a climate change deal at Copenhagen will provide a financial package which should support countries like Saudi Arabia to deploy CCS. And we can all use our resources more efficiently. New technologies exist that can do the same job but more efficiently, particularly in delivering the air conditioning that's so necessary in a country like Saudi Arabia. Part of this is about giving consumers the right price signal so they have an incentive to consume less. But enhanced standards of energy efficiency in buildings can also assist us. So in conclusion, I want to thank His Royal Highness Prince Sultan bin Abdulaziz for his commitment to the environment and his commitment to this initiative by his presence here this evening, and to the foresight of His Royal Highness Prince Faisal bin Turkey in developing this initiative. And we want to stay in close touch in helping the Saudi Sustainability Initiative develop and grow. And I believe that sustainability in energy will be as important and as profitable for Saudi Arabia in the 21st century as oil has been in the 20th century. Thank you very much.